Well then, I'm going to share this before I say a single word. Let me share this. Because, yeah. If this just wants to load already or not. Mimi? Milo! Oh my goodness. Cats are fighting. Alright. Leave her alone! Oh, it's him. Oh my goodness, now they're all starting. Welcome to Light My Morning. I just want to start again already. Oh my God. Yep. It's kind of like that. I'm just sharing this before I open my mouth because, yeah. Okay, we're good. We're good to go. All right, I'll just bring this up here so I can see your comments. Well then, anyone notice anything different already? Just like that. My hair's gone. Just like that. Chopped it off. It's gone. Sarah says hello. It's after 8 p.m. where I am. It's just after 1 p.m. here. Well, 20 past. Does anyone notice anything different at all? It's all a bit of a mess, but just like that, I chopped it off. Says she who wants to grow her hair long. I just chopped like several inches off yesterday. Just gone, just like that. I'm still not 100% how I style it. And a big part of, the well then, sharing on this, see now it's just like a great mess because I do not know how to style short hair. Okay, so I'm really used to styling my hair with a blow dryer and a straightener. If you guys had seen on my story, I don't know, the other week, my GHD that I've had for 16 years decided to finally die. So I was like, cool, I got to get another straightener. And then one of my inner circle clients, she's like, maybe you're just not meant to like put heat on your hair for a while. And I'm like, no, that's not what's happening. And then I'm like, maybe she was right. So you might have seen some of my blogs, like recently I've decided to grow my blackout. I've decided to grow it out. And I've had black, that deep, like black, as thick as and black as you can get, since about February 2018. I started dyeing it. And then, you know, like with COVID and everything and lockdowns here in the past few months, like I just kept missing my appointments and I was just like, maybe that's the decision, because I was umming and ahhing about growing it out. Like I love my black hair. But the reason that I've stopped is because of the chemicals in my brain. I can't do it anymore. I just cannot do it. Sure, I can dye my hair with the natural, like, you know, the non-chemical one. That just doesn't appeal to me. Don't ask me why. I'm very much a person who's going to do something, do it properly. Don't ask me. I don't know. It doesn't really make sense. But anyway. So, in like, it would probably be only like, what are we now, August, about 4 months since I haven't dyed it. And honestly, the level of like pimples and sores and stuff coming out of my scalp, that just put me off from ever dyeing my hair again. I was just like, holy shit, like because my body's been given a chance to stop, it's just gone like it's just all coming out. And I'm like, wow, this is insane. When I've been Googling about it, it's like black is like the worst color, like for the chemicals and stuff, right? And I'm just like, okay, of course it is. So it's really kind of interesting. And the thing that spurred me on, like, you know, like all the realizations that I'm having about this, maybe because my head's not full of chemicals anymore, perhaps. But it was probably in the last 2 weeks, like because my hair was, you know, like it had a good couple of inches still on it, right? And because I'd stopped dyeing it, like all of a sudden, all of this, like, I was just like, oh my God, I got to get this off. Like I could feel it hanging in the ends, right? I'm so sensitive. I'm so sensitive to energy, to chemicals, everything. And so when I could feel it at the ends, I was like, oh my God, I've just got to cut it off, right? Jenny says, didn't Jackie O die from the black color? I have no idea. I have no idea. Old dye was terrible. Yeah. So it's it's a big deal for me because I would never cut my hair. Like I wanted to grow it so long, but just, and so this is really, really significant for me. I'm definitely not keeping it this length. It was just like, in myself, I'm like, it'll grow back. Like I'm really not concerned. It was more about getting that. Of course, there's still color in these bits, of course, and that'll grow out, but just that end. But it was also goodbye old life. Now, I this might not be a big deal for many people, but it's a big deal for me. Like yesterday, I just didn't post anything, haven't put anything on my stories. I was just like, I just needed to stop. And even though I just drove everywhere, but I just stopped. I was just like, you know what? I just need to stop. And in that stopping, it was like because I could feel something coming, right? And I'm like, this goodbye old life, cutting those ends off was such a big deal because as you guys know, I've been out here, I've been, my body's been going into detox, right? Just from being out of suburbia and out of the convenience of suburbia. It's just gone 12 months now. And in the last 2 months, I've not done a strict detox, but I've really started to, I guess, again, it's not been strict, but I've been following medical medium stuff, not really again, strict. It's just been the meals and stuff like that. And when my daughter was in New Zealand for 3 weeks just recently, I barely went to the shop. I didn't I just ate out of the garden and, and just I could feel my body go whoo, and just start dumping all this stuff. And because that's what happens in a detox is our body has a chance to heal and repair and just dump everything, right? So this is a really big deal for me and I feel really vulnerable sharing this. It took me about an hour to get ready to live stream because it's really vulnerable what I'm about to share. I'm conscious that I have a client soon, so I'm not going to be talking long, which is also a big deal for me. So in this whole piece around everything I've gone through, and this year I want to say I've been very angry. I've been so angry, and then when I started reading medical medium stuff, I started bawling my eyes out crying. The biggest thing that I have lost in myself is is my heart, which sounds so ironic when I say it because reality awareness logo is a fucking heart. It's ridiculous, right? Oh my God. So vulnerable sharing this. So Carol, that is an entire live stream on itself, and I've done lots of live streams on that topic. So if you comment what on earth in the comments, then I can send you the link to all the things that I think about that question you just asked. So I feel like I've lost my heart, and it's not that I've lost my heart. I feel like I've lost the kindness in my heart. Now, some people might say, oh, that's because of all the chemicals you've been putting in your body for all this time. And I'm like, maybe it is, right? And, and as a single mother for 13 years now, almost, 13 years, including being in my belly, life hasn't been easy. And in the first 3 to 4 years of her life, I went through a lot of domestic violence through the courts. I was pregnant when I went through the courts. And, there was just so many things that I gave up so that I could get out of control, so I could get out of being controlled and controlling relationships and domestic violence relationships. There was so much that I gave up when I had my daughter. Before I had my daughter, I was running to the beach every morning. I was swimming, I was coming home, I was meditating, I was raw vegan 6 days of the week, and on Sunday I let myself eat whatever I wanted. And over a period of time, I was just eating raw food 7 days a week because that's what my body craved. I was so healthy and fit. Then I fell pregnant. I got into all of that stuff and become very controlled, right? Into the point, and this might seem irrelevant, but it's so important to understand what I'm about to share about my vulnerability, about now, and about why I've been so angry this year. It's going to bring tears to my eyes still. So, coming into that space, still processing it. This is why I haven't said anything. And I wasn't going to. Letting go and cutting my hair is such a symbolism of letting go of abuse, letting go of the chemicals. And as you guys have known, I've been working on my coffee addiction and also letting go of my food addiction if you've been following me over the past few years. If you don't know that story, please comment food below and I shall send you the link with all of my food journey. So, coming out of the domestic violence cycle, which, takes a lot of time to come out of, good 10 years or more, once even you've stepped out of that physically, right? And, a big deal of it was, when she was, I think it must have been 3 to 4 years of age, and I started to realize that even though I'd separated from her dad, the control was still there, right? He'd pay me child support and then he'd pull it away and say, I've paid you extra, so you're not getting some for a year, and just back and forth. And that would last a week and then he'd pay again. And, and then I had his car, but it was my car, but it was his car. And so, it was no, you can't drive there, you can't drive there. We'd been separated for 3 years, for fuck's sake, and it got to a point where I'd moved to suburbia. I could catch buses everywhere. We were close to the beach. There were shops just down the road. I was so supported by spirit that I made the decision to, one day, I drove to his house and knew he wasn't there. I put the car seat into a taxi. I left the keys in wherever I did were in the house, and I sent him a message. I said, the car's yours. I said, I don't want it. And that, for me, that was a big deal because everyone knows me and my cars, right? And I caught the bus for a whole year. Again, this might not be much for anyone. This is a big deal for me. And, with she must have been between 3 and 5 was when this was going on. We caught buses everywhere. It was stinking hot. Trying to carry all our groceries, from, in a pram back home on the bus. It was hectic, right? And this is going back a good 10 years ago now. And I remember saying to myself, I'm willing to do whatever it takes to not be in control, to not do any of that, to take control of my own life and get my own shit sorted and do what I had to do. And I did. And it was really hard. And it's been really hard for a long time, right? Now, back then, I didn't have my business online, right? I was teaching in-person workshops. I was, doing all sorts of things. Now, eventually, I got my own car. That was a big deal. I had a Hyundai Getz. I got it all by myself. I got the loan. I traveled to Brisbane by train. I put her in daycare. I caught the bus. The train straight down to Brisbane, which is a good hour and a half on the train from, down on the coast. And, and it was a really big deal. It was a really big achievement. It was a really big deal. Now, fast forward 5 years, I started putting my business online. And again, it was to get out of the cycle. It was to get out of the cycle of being controlled, not necessarily in a relationship, but it wasn't full freedom to me to be on the government pension as a single mother, still relying on that, still relying on child support and whatever I made in my yoga class once or twice a week. You know what I mean? Which isn't much, right? And so after all these signs, I put my business online. And that was in 2016. Now, a lot of you guys might know this story from here on in, right? And from 2016 onwards, I've been running on adrenaline. And I didn't even know though. This was just me. I would just do life. I would turn up. I would just do whatever I wanted. I would just do all the things, right? Because I knew for myself, I didn't want to be on government child support forever. That was just not the life for me. That's not the life I saw for myself, let alone for myself and my daughter. It just wasn't an option, right? And again, I did whatever it took for as long as it takes. Now, for the first 2 years online, I was really I want to say free flowing, I was still on government support because I was still figuring out my business online. Like I was doing it all myself. I have done, like it's just, I'm just a single mother trying to figure shit out, right? And trying to homeschool my daughter and do all the things. And like, it's been huge. Okay. Now this isn't a sad sob story. And this is the thing that's shut me down over the years, because being online, and this is the big thing that I've realized, that fuck me, I haven't cried on this live stream for ages. This is why I've been quiet and I haven't been sharing, because I used to share my heart and soul online all the time and be so open and confident in that. And then people would come along and they'd be like, oh, you're being a victim, and oh, you're being a narcissist. And then on top of that, like learning about narcissistic abuse and all of that, I'm like, oh, am I a narcissist? And then you look through the things and it's like, oh, they're like delusional and they've got big dreams and they want to be famous and they're narcissists because of that. And because I've been on the flip side of narcissistic relationship and I stepped into that, I know that with my ex a few years ago, I've obviously been looking at all these things and questioning them. Fuck. And for the past 2 years, it shut my dreams down. I've lost like who I was, because I was not just listening to everyone else, but it's also that reflection, right? Of like I've got big dreams, private jets, super yachts, like fuck knows where that's come from. But at the same time, like you don't have that in your vision if it's not for you. I don't know where that's going to come from or how, but all I know is that this is who I am. Along this like path of like having these big dreams and then everyone shutting me down, or me letting people shut me down. But at the same time, I've been like, maybe I am delusional, maybe I am like, all these things that these people say, but then it's like, no, like they're just threatened of who I am or whatever it is. Like, do you know what I mean? And this is where like at the start of this year, I was so angry because it had been shut down for like a year or two, and just like everything I would say would be like, no, that's wrong, don't do it this way, and blah blah blah. And man, it's been like 2.5 years, 3 years of like trying to find myself again amongst all of that. And getting on the road last year and like, like I had to be on adrenaline besides drinking 3 massive strong black coffees per day just to keep driving or whatever it is, right? The long story short, because I've got to get on a call with my client soon, is that I feel like I've been trying to keep up with the Joneses, and I don't mean like about the super yachts and the private jets. That's always been in my heart and soul, like private islands, like island life, like following the summers and the festivals. Like that's always been there since 2005 when I was spiritually awakened. Like that's always, since I was 18, that's all I've ever wanted to do. That hasn't gone away. And along the way, I've become a mum, and now I've done this, and I wouldn't change it for the world. But it's like so much has been shut down, and so much of this is like coming out. Like cutting this off was such a big like, not, like I want to grow my hair long. That's still a thing, but I want the black out. I love the black, but not the chemicals, right? I just really want to reiterate that because I love that silvery black color. I love it so much. Anyway, learning to love myself, learning to love my brown, learning to love my whole self, learning to love like all parts of me. And that's what this past few months has been. Oh, I didn't bring tissues out because I didn't think I was going to cry. So the biggest thing about the keeping up with appearances is I've been putting my prices up, and I haven't wanted to do that. Like at the end of the day, like I understand I had to put my prices up a bit, sure, right? Like, but at the same time, like it was more about me learning to manage my energy and my boundaries around just how I work. Like, and so okay, I'm getting very conscious of not justifying why I'm saying everything, because this has also been another thing. Like, I was so confident coming online, like just knowing who I am, and then everyone's like, you've got too big of dreams and you're mothering people. You're mothering people and you're being too kind, basically. And that just broke my heart. But I didn't realize that fuck, man, I can't believe I'm crying this much. My kindness is who I am. Sure, I had to learn boundaries, but not to the detriment of shutting down like I did. Reading medical medium stuff has made me cry so much because of how compassionate he is, and like, sure, the spirit of compassion, but I used to be like that in 2018. And me putting my prices up and everything was like what I thought I had to do because that's what everyone was doing, and you're not good enough if you don't have high prices. And I'm like, man, like, reading medical medium stuff, because at the same time putting my prices up hasn't felt right, because I, like, reading medical medium stuff, it reminded me who I am. It was like, it's more important to me that I can help the people who really need to be fucking helped. It's more important that the information gets out there to the people who really fucking need it, to help the people of the underground and the underworld. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, that's always been my heart and soul. And I shut that down, because it's like, I needed to, like, I don't even know what that was. Like, do you know what I mean? It was just like, what the fuck? Thanks, Monique. I'm conscious because I've got another 2 clients after you. And I was like, if I don't do this now, I'm just going to put it off another 5 days. Christy says, what would you tell your client? Well, to be honest, like, and this is the thing, right? Like I went into a millionaire mindset mentorship to learn about money. I don't want to reschedule. It's not how it works. I want to say I'm very good at, like, feeling my emotions and holding my ground and then, like, turning up to do what I've done. And that was the other thing, because this morning I got so fucking pissed off, like, because I am working to give up my coffee addiction, because, again, sorry, I meant to say before, like, my coffee is tied into the abuse. I never used to drink coffee. I started to drink coffee when I had to drive 2 hours back and forth every weekend for my then 12-month-old baby to see her dad, because I left a domestic violence situation. Coffee kept me going. So it's very tied into abuse. I never, ever used to drink it. And, in this past, like, 3 years, I've been drinking so much strong black coffee. It's ridiculous. Like, so I got really pissed off this morning because I'm like, I used to get up, I used to get up at 5 a.m. and start work and drink my black coffee. And I was pissed off this morning because I'm like, yeah, I'm sleeping in and I need sleep. And then I get pissed off. I'm like, but I'm not getting work done. Like, it's like this catch-22. Anyway. So, yeah, I just needed to share this for some reason. I think because I've been reading medical medium stuff and starting and detoxing my body, and, like, all of this is becoming clear, because I've been so... Like, I did need to restructure, I did need to do everything, but at the same time, I know what I need to do differently. Like, that's really clear now. And I feel like I'm starting to find myself again, and I'm starting to, like, figure out what I'm doing, and at the same time, I feel like I still don't know what I'm doing. And I just want to share this as well, because there's a lot of people that are feeling really lost at the moment, and there's a lot of people that are not sleeping. I posted that, yesterday, because I've been, like, having a lot of clients that are not sleeping well, and even myself, like, I've been, like, when I sleep, I pass out, like, I'm dead asleep, but I've been really, like, staying up really late and everything, and I'm like, what's going on? Like, there's sabotage, and I'm like, no, like, something massive is shifting here. And it's tied into, we're in trust intuition in our 15-week journey at the moment. And we're halfway through, and coming up on Monday is the wound clearing process. We've had like 8 weeks of like preparing for this wound clearing and then we're about to clear it on Monday. So I'm very conscious that we like walk through what we're teaching and we live through what we're learning, and that's why this is coming up. But it's good because it's clearing out the wound of actually me being myself, not having to like, I want to say be scared of who I am, which stems from a deep childhood wound. Plain and simple, right? So, yep, definitely massive cellular cleanse going on. Okay. Not sure what I come into, but I hate seeing women crying. Who the hell do I need to beat the fuck up? Okay, crying's really important. Crying's really healing. Tears release the stress hormone cortisol. And tears serve a definite function for releasing in the body. 99% of society would be healed if they would just bawl their fucking eyes out. So appreciate that, Nikki, but crying's healing. And I guess I'm showing you to give you permission that it's okay to cry, even in front of the world. Like, it's so important, right? And I cry not because I'm in pain. I cry because I know I'm healing. I know I'm in the middle of a process, and if I hold that in, I just get angry. I've been angry all morning, and then we had to drive into town. I didn't want to fucking drive again today. And that's the other thing. I'm really missing the beach. Like, that's the other thing. I'm like, why am I out here? And I know why I'm out here, but I'm like, I love it out here. But I'm like, I miss the fucking beach. It's like 45 minutes away. And I realized this morning in these like beautiful coming into spring days, that we're nearly on the edge of spring, I'm like, it's so fucking beautiful at the beach. And at my old place, I would get up and walk along the beach in the morning and then start my day. And like, here's just not appealing to walk, through the bush. I mean, sure it is, but there's ticks and stuff, and you have to wear, boots and stuff because there's snakes and there's all sorts of shit. And I'm like, and then the other thing I realized is I love change. And I realized this morning that every day on the beach, it's different. The waves are different. The wind is different. The sand's different. Everything's different. And I was like, wow, that's so significant. I never noticed that before. It's always different. The change. Christy says, maybe you were not meant to love coffee until that point in your life, and that was just how it was introduced to you. I love coffee, but it's the adrenaline, and it's aged me, and anyway, it's really helped me. It's definitely really helped me. That's right. It's definitely been a support mechanism, and I know I've talked about giving up coffee for a couple of years now, I think, going on a couple of years for sure, and it's not that I'm like talking about not doing it. It's just that I know the depth of what it represents to me and what's underneath it, because underneath any addiction is the emotions that comes alongside. Like, this is the support mechanism. So yeah. Ricky says, thank you so much for sharing. I feel so much of what you're describing. Again, you've confirmed my intuition in so many different ways on this stream. Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Ricky. Yes. Thanks, guys. So, yeah. Set up a fund. Yeah, I need to sort that out in a way. I need to figure that out, I guess. But I guess I'm just clear on all my boundaries and on what it is for me now. Or just checking these comments because, yeah. Nikki says, speak your truth. We are all conditioned to be present. What think people want us to be? Yeah, I know. And I think just because I was in a space of just, I don't know, like everything I said or did or suggested was wrong, or I don't know, it was just this big wrongness feeling. And I don't know, maybe that's just because of me. Welcome back. Yes, thank you. Welcome back. So in essence to all of this, like, and this is my thing, right? Because like, I love working with clients. I love working with people. That's what I do. I help people, right? And then everything changed when I started changing everything, for fuck's sake. So I was going to do it tomorrow on the 21st. And I'm like, man, I need to do this today. It was just like, I want to say busting to come out of me. Obviously, I mean, I've just finished bleeding, for fuck's sake. I shouldn't be crying, but obviously this is so this is like, you know, and like I said, the medical medium stuff is activating so much in me because I used to be raw vegan and then everyone told me that it was wrong. And like, you know, and it wasn't just like that I listened to them and I let them influence me. It was because I was deep in the relationships and then also all the trauma from that and the back and forth. And they're like, what am I doing here? Like, it was not a time for me to do big detoxing either. And that's why being here in this safe space, this is why all this is coming up, because I finally have a home. I finally have a safe space. We're on 250 acres here. Like, look at it, it's fucking stunning. You know what I mean? Like, it's a saltwater pool, you know, like it's perfect. And finally, for the first time in, I don't know, since I was 18, I'm 36 now, about to turn 37, however many years that is, my math's not good like that, whatever. English is my thing, not math. That's why all this is coming out, because I finally feel safe. I don't have to be on the run. I don't have to be on the go. I don't have to go anywhere, you know, like and that's the other thing that's been coming up as part of this big wound for trust and intuition on Monday, is that I've been on the run since I was 18. It's funny, I've been watching shows over the last few months, like I'm tired of running, and I'm like, oh, is this why I'm watching this? Of course. Tired of running, and I don't have to run anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't have to run anymore. Like since I was 18, I left home from an emotionally abusive place. Like I don't have to run anymore. And that's why all of this is coming up, right? Because it's finally safe to heal this biggest wound. Like, oh my God, to finally let in life, to finally, like, I can stop to receive life. I can stop to receive love. I can stop to receive everything that I've ever wanted. Like this is the turning point. And even, as I say, the past 5 years of like building my business has been like, go, 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 go. Like, you know, and that, you know, and I had to do that to get out of the situation I was in. Like I had to do that. I did what I had to do for as long as it takes, like to make it work. Like I've done that, right? And now this past year, and I've been so conscious of this, has been like, okay, well, I've achieved all these things. Well, now what? You know? And now all this stuff's coming out so that I can heal to receive my next level, to receive my dream life. Like this is, you know, I can't describe the feeling anymore. I don't have to run. And that's why all of this biggest wounds coming up. Like I've been on the run since I was 18. Like I've been just had to get away from it all, and now is the first time ever that I've stopped. It's huge. So in all of this big recalibration, right, in all of this huge big recalibration, my Life Purpose Accelerator is open. And as you guys know, I've changed it from like 25K for a month, 250K for a year. I've restructured everything, and I mean everything. So it used to be 12 months, it's now 6 months. So in the Life Purpose Accelerator is my inner circle. This is where you get access to everything, right? Now, if you've applied before, if you've looked at it before, if you've heard about me talking about it before, it's none of those prices. It's not even what it was before I put all the prices up. So it's only 6 months now, but you get Trust Intuition included. That's the certification to become a healer. That's the advanced certification. That's anything that I release. You get 12 months access to all the courses, to all of that, right? You work with me for 6 months and you get everything. There's distance healings, there's reality reconfiguration, there's me on tap. So you have 24/7 access to me on Telegram or WhatsApp, whichever's easiest for you. I don't really mind. Some people do. I don't really care. And that's voice message, text message, psychic readings, everything. And this is my inner circle. This is the highest level that you can work with me. But the price isn't high for what it is. And that just feels right for me. And because it's more important to me that I help people. And this is where like I used to like judge myself, because all these like other like coaches and entrepreneurs are like, you got to put your prices up and you shouldn't be charging that and blah, blah, blah. And so I've been like, oh, I need to like, you know, like I was like, oh, this is what you're supposed to do, like to make it. And I'm like, my heart's not been in it because that's not where I'm at. And, you know, and this is why like The medical medium stuff's been around for a couple of years and I only just read it now. Of course, we only find what's right. We find the teacher at the right time, right? And it's just from him speaking, and he doesn't even speak about this stuff. It's just the way he conveys his message. I'm like, that's how I used to speak until people told me that I shouldn't be mothering people. I'm like, that is just called being kind in a world that is so distraught with everything that's going on. I'm like, this is what the world needs. This is what I'm here for, is to heal people's hearts, is to help people understand and make sense of what's going on in the world. Like, that's what I'm passionate about. You know what I mean? Like, that's where my heart is. That's what's important to me. I don't care about anything else. I don't, because I've always been supported. Look where I've ended up. Like, I'm always supported by spirit. That's not what I have to worry about. What I have to worry about is being there for people and being kind and compassionate, because that's what people need to heal. Not being told they're wrong, not being told all of this shit, not that they need to do it that way or that way or that way. Not at all. So my Life Purpose Accelerator is open. This is my inner circle. And if you have felt called to work with me at this level and then not being able to, or anything, like, honestly, yeah, I feel so aligned to this. I'm like, I feel like I can breathe. I feel like I can do what I'm here to do again. Do you know what I mean? Oh my goodness. So I'm just gonna, I love you guys. I love you guys so much. So I'm like, and I just want to say sorry, like, in the past, because 8 months or something, I've just been in a weird space, but I've been recalibrating. I've definitely been recalibrating. To find, like, what it is that I'm doing. And obviously I needed to go through all that so I could be really solid in who I am, and really solid in what I know I'm meant to do, and really solid in, like, all of those pieces, because right now this is what the world needs, and this is what I'm here for. This is my purpose. This is what I'm doing. Like, why everything I went through and have gone through has ended me up here, and I needed that, of course, but it just hasn't been easy. Anyway, the link is in the comments here. If you have any questions, send me a message about it. Send an email to find out more information. It won't be open for that long though. I've decided, because it's 6 months, I'm going to open it once or twice a year. I'm not sure yet. So it won't be, I don't know. I'm just trusting my intuition. I'm not even planning it right now. Thanks, Tara and Laurie. Cindy says, I also want to thank you for sharing, because you showed me what my last step is that I haven't actually been able to figure out before. And that is finally feeling safe so I can release that final stuck energy. It's the biggest thing, is feeling safe. We won't be able to heal if we don't feel safe. And that's why, if we look at the current state of affairs on the world, that's why we need to create that internal safety. That's why we need to find that safety in our own life, because that's going to ripple out, and that's going to allow people who are ready to heal to step into the space as well. Yeah. Thanks, guys. I love you heaps. I've got to get off and jump on with my client, because it's what I do. And it's what I'm passionate about. It's what I fucking love, is working with you guys. So I see you soon.